Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. Here we have Michael on Storm versus Jeff on Sylvan Stompy, a very interesting mono-green Stompy list using cards similar to the Dragon Stompy, but all green. So we've got Chalice of the Void, Trinisphere, of course City of Traders, Ancient Tomb in order to power those out, Chrome Mox as well, and instead of going after the mana base with Blood Moon, he potentially has options like Choke. We'll see if he's playing that main deck, and really a much higher quality of threats. So we're talking about Questing Beast, Shifting Ceradon, Tireless Tracker, kind of things that one-on-one do much better than the, Magus of the Moons and Simian Spirit Guides that we so often see from Dragon Stompy trying to mop things up after they lock the game out. And we'll see how this goes. It seems like a very difficult matchup for Jeff. I'm not sure if he even has access to Veil of Summer because he is a Chalice deck. So Veil of Summer is actually incredible versus Storm. Shuts off both their discard and their Tendrils kill. But not exactly a playable card when your main game plan is getting a Chalice at 1 out. Michael preordaining. Jeff. Forest pass. And that is not what you want to see when you just play a basic forest and pass. We've got 4 black mana in the pool. Lion's Eye Diamond, Storm building. Cracking that LED in response to Infernal Tutor. He's got a couple of rituals in there. This should be a... Oh. Did he not have enough mana floating for Past in Flames? He had 4, 7, 5. Huh. I wonder if he could have actually just Past in Flames and won on the spot. I feel like he could have. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe he didn't have enough Storm? Down to 1 life. A land for turn. Lotus Petal. Rain of Filth. Gonna sack his lands for Cabal Ritual. And he's got the Past in Flames in hand. That's also fine. And he's got the Tendrils as well, so that's going to do it. Wasn't paying attention to the cards off of that ad nauseum too closely. He's got the Tendrils and the Past in Flames. Everything he could possibly need there, down to just 1 life. And, of course, Mono Green not really going to be able to punish you for dipping in life. It's not like a stray Lightning Bolt is going to find your face. You can play pretty confidently once it's your turn versus this deck. Though Force of Vigor, very interesting card. That can potentially be a problem if you're loose sequencing your spells. Also does a little bit of damage to the multiple Lion's Eye Diamonds. That can be a little bit of an issue. Have to be very careful with those. If you have a couple of Lion's Eye Diamonds out, you better be casting your Infernal Tutor if you're going to be responding to them. If you're going to play a Dark Ritual after getting your LEDs out, you could find yourself getting completely decimated by a Force of Vigor, even when your opponent's tapped out. So he's going to have Lotus Petal and Lion's Eye Diamond as targets for that. I don't believe he's running the Mox Opal that some of the lists were running for a little while. Storm at one point was really loading up on tons and tons of artifacts. Underworld Breach, a newly printed card that introduces a whole different type of Storm deck in the meta. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. And getting some of that on camera as well. Oh, looks like we've got a busted app. We're going to use this secondary phone here. Michael quick to jump into action. And perhaps quick to mulligan. I don't know if he's got enough mana in that hand to keep it. No, he does not. The Sylvan Stompy list, very interesting to see it evolving. The quality of these threats on their own is pretty high. Questing Beast. It's a heck of a card. Really does a number on True Name Nemesis as well. So many cards lately have taken some of the shine off of that card. True Name Nemesis was really, really the hot sauce for a while. In between Plague Engineer, Questing Beast, the Stomp part of Bone Crusher Giant, just lots of little ways making him actually not completely invincible. We've got Jeff, Ancient Tomb, again, no first turn play. He did mulligan. He may need to be more selective with those openers as well. Though on the other side of that, Storm sometimes going to be keeping hands a little bit slower. This may give Jeff time to get something down like a Trinisphere. No, he's got a Tireless Tracker. And if we're going to give Storm 3 or 4 turns, likely not going to end well. Tireless Tracker not going to do anything to interact with Michael aside from lower his life total, potentially impacting the utility of Ad Nauseam. It does potentially let Jeff draw some cards. Oh, and I think Jeff might have actually just missed an attack there. We've got a Thought-Knot Seer. Now this is a threat that actually impacts his hand. And we see that he is just waiting to draw it. Yikes. Lion's Eye Diamond being taken. He's going to have all the rituals in the world. Lion's Eye, a good pick there. It's going to be a little difficult for Michael to get the Lotus Petal, the Abrupt Decay and Echoing Truth out of his hand. Even if he draws an Infernal Tutor now, it is not a swift death for Jeff, as it would be otherwise. He's got a couple of clues here on board. And another Thought-Knot Seer, and this guy is going to pose lethal damage potentially. Now he's got an Echoing Truth in hand. Oh, and he's not going to use it. Interesting. I would have anticipated a response bouncing the Thought-Knot Seer. At least get some of this pressure off the board. And I think this is looking very bad. A couple of Rishadan ports for Jeff. Going to Abrupt Decay prior to combat. Going down to 2. Both lands being tapped. And now a Lotus Petal being used for Ponder. That is going to do it. Jeff taking down game number 2. Forcing game 3 in a very difficult matchup. We'll see how he does on the draw with Michael on the play. Storm, just such a fast, devastating deck. So Jeff's disruption there consisted of Rishadan Port and a couple of Thought-Knot Seers. A little bit slower than I would have anticipated. But getting that Lion's Eye Diamond out of hand was potentially crucial. Without the LED in play, he really didn't have any live top decks. for his tutors. He can still draw ad nauseum, Past in Flames. One of the difficult things about playing against a list like Sylvan Stompy is just not really knowing what could possibly be in there. It's all over the place. Lotus Petal, Brainstorm. Cracking a fetch land. A little surprised to see the Lotus Petal being used in that way without seeing the entirety of his hand. Tough to fully weigh in on. Typically, my Lotus Petals are going to be additional acceleration. Usually just using them the turn I'm going to be winning. And brainstorming. Yet another Lotus Petal. So far, there was 4 Storm on that first turn. During the end step, once upon a time, finding a Collector Oof. And Oof, a very powerful effect versus Storm, shutting off their LEDs and their Lotus Petals. He's got an Ancient Tomb. Does he have a Spirit Guide to go along with this? Is that a Chrome Mox? Oh, and not actually committing that Oof to the board. Looks like he would have needed to use Chrome Mox, which would have been, 2 cards that would have then been shut off by the Oof, but it may be worth it versus this deck. Lion's Eye Diamond is a very important part of the mix. Getting your hand empty is crucial to making your tutors work. Jeff allowing this to resolve. Fetch land finding an Underground Sea. I think Jeff may be sitting on Force of Vigor. Not really going to interact with this Lotus Petal at all. Michael will be able to just sacrifice it in response. Jeff could fire it off end of turn if he likes, just to get some mana out of there. Though at that point he may be better off just using it to imprint on Chrome Mox. Now we've got a Cabal Ritual with Threshold. That's a very threatening situation. This is not likely to end well for Jeff. Lion's Eye Diamond, second LED. Oh, and he's got a Force of Vigor. So he's able to take out the first LED before the second one resolves. Still 5 black, though. And that adds a Storm. An additional spell to the Storm count. And ad nauseum. And I think Jeff would feel much better with that Collector Oof in play. A Lotus Petal here could allow this all to continue. This will actually be game over if he draws a Lotus Petal. Echoing Truth, he's at 4. He can die from here. Oh, he already had black mana floating, so this is actually going to be over then. Duress, and that was in fact a Chrome Mox. Duress is just going to be a ton of rituals here. And that Lion's Eye Diamond going to allow him to go Hellbent. That is the secret sauce there. He's got plenty of mana. And Tendrils, so one decision there. So crucial, and Jeff at this point deeply regretting that decision, recognizing that he could have had that Collector Oof. It would have set back Michael significantly and would have been a completely different game. So, yeah, it looks like Stompy, when you're playing against Storm, you're going to want to get that hate down as soon as possible. Sometimes the price is going to be very high, but it's likely better than the alternative. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.